can't wait to, today's show just gives me good vibes and just good everything. And this is actually one of my favorite songs from way back. Takes me back to when I was a kid, and you're all about, when I grow up, I want to do that biashara, ne? And we're going to be taking a look at it from the technology perspective of it. How we can start businesses online. What are the avenues that are available? Overly, the impact of technology. In case you're just joining in, my name is Aziza Hashim, and this is Lifestyle Thursdays. We are live on New Day, right here on Ebru TV. And today we're talking impact of technology from all manners and aspects. And what better people to talk about technology than young people who actually interact with technology itself? So what impact does it have when it comes to your business? Maybe just not even just starting a business online, because I remember when I was now talking to that friend of mine that I always talk to before every show, alikuwa ananiambia, sasa mkiongelea technology, why do you guys always just talk about how I can start a business online, how I can make money through my Instagram and stuff like that? You can, which is also a very important aspect to look at it. But a lot of people also have physical businesses. So how can you make an impact in your physical businesses, or even in any job that you're doing, using technology, using social media, using the internet? How can you go about that? So it's about to get hot in here. It's about to get very interesting. And I have some amazing guests who are going to be chatting with me. But before I introduce them, I want you to be a part of the show. I understand leo kuna venye was up and tucheza kidogo. So why don't you call me? I want to hear your beautiful voices today. I want to hear call after call after call. 0115-885-797 is my number. Give me a call and ask all the questions that you've had. As we go about the conversation, feel free to stop us. Where? I'm telling you, I'm so excited about this show. I don't understand even. Feel free to stop us and just basically ask whatever it is you want to ask. And it's all about helping us. You can also tag us all over social media at Ebru TV Kenya on all social media platforms except for Facebook, which was Ebru TV KE. So use the hashtag New Day. Today I'll be sampling comments strictly out of Twitter, strictly out of Instagram, because when we talk about technology, mbona tustumie technology, so tunaenda tu hapo tu. And in studio, I have some very amazing people. You know, when I was young, my dad always wanted me to be a software engineer, so I'm glad I actually have the chance to sit with one. We have Peter Kabunya, karibu sana. He's a software engineer, so yani unakaa too serious. This is everything my dad wanted me to be. So thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. How are you feeling this Thursday?
I'm feeling very excited.
We're also very excited to hear from you.
Yeah.
And on a Thursday, because Thursday is just one day away to the weekend, what are you most excited about for the weekend?
Mostly, I'm excited about, mostly for the weekend for me is planning for the new week. And that mostly is innovating new products and mostly developing the software.
So
yeah.
like me, mwenye nafikiria tu sherehe. That's what But anyway, we have this very beautiful lady. Oh my God, your earrings are out of this world.
Thank you.
You look very, you radiate just good vibes. I hope you're feeling amazing to be here. Her name is Kathleen Mureithi. She's a growth analyst. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much.
And for you, what is the one thing you're excited most about the weekend? Are you like me, or are you like Peter, who's just excited about looking at the new week and being so positive?
Well, I don't really have a plan, so I'll just go with the flow, but I'm thinking of trying out something new, probably do an adventure or something, blend it with the nature, but I'll figure it out.
It's amazing. And today we have a very interesting topic.
Yes.
It's something that a lot of us interact with. Everyone, from the moment you've woken up, I believe, even for some people, we look at phones or we look at social media more than we even look at newspapers and stuff like that, more than we even interact with normal people and have normal conversations. So from the moment umeamka tu hivi, you've looked at your phone to see what Twitter has, to see what's trending, to look at your Instagram or things like that. So when you think about technology and the impact and the growth that we've witnessed in technology from a growth analyst perspective, what is the growth that we've had in technology? Situation iko aje right now? What are the avenues that we have? in
Yeah.
the times right now?
Yeah, I'm glad you actually brought it out because let me just take you back before COVID. Yeah, technology was not really something that businesses would look into very keenly,
Yeah.
but now it has become the only thing. Yeah, so we have to embrace it or we do not remain afloat.
Yeah.
So now, like you said, when you wake up in the morning, you have to check your emails. Some of us are working remotely. You know,
Yeah.
there are platforms that we really have to interact with in order for us to communicate within our office environments. If you're tracking a project, how can you do that? If you're looking at the timeline, say for example, I'm working on this project for the next 1 month. How far are we? Do we need to do recalculations? So it has become a very important element, you know, to the growth of every business. You
Yeah.
know, also even in terms of financing, how do you track the inflow and outflow of money? How do you need to build a system for you to increase transparency, to increase efficiency for customers that are using the card systems? Do you need to introduce live bank integrations? How do you also introduce on-time reporting if something, if money has entered into the account? So how do you track that? If you need to send an invoice, how do you even follow up?
Yeah.
So these are some of the things that businesses have actually had to grow. You know, albeit you have to be pushed out of the comfort zone. You have to embrace new environments. You have to also even balance the spectrums because of for some of the customers that most businesses are dealing with. You know, technology is also being driven by economic activities. So maybe some of your customers are in areas where technology is not really diverse or is not really big, yeah. So also, how do you ensure that you satisfy those customers? Because at the end of the day, for you to realize growth in your business, customer satisfaction is a very big sales strategy. Yeah.
And what I'm trying to understand from you is the simplification in how we do everything. Because when we think about technology, we always think about Instagram, Facebook,
Yes.
Twitter.
Yes.
But from how you're putting it, from the invoices to how you run your business on a daily basis,
Yes.
technology actually plays a
Yes,
role.
yes.
And from your perspective, how important is it for us to embrace technology in our everyday lives?
It's very important to embrace the technology, mostly for the businesses, especially in the working environment, because technology is the main driver, especially for revenues. Unless you implement good technology in your business, then you cannot be able to sufficiently drive revenues without increasing costs. The main advantage that technology brings on board is that you can be able to lower costs and still drive revenues. And when you're able to drive revenues, then you are able to create more employment opportunities and more like technology helps you see the big picture in a smaller frame. So it brings the bigger picture in a smaller frame so that you can see everything all in one screen. And you can imagine if you were to map out a business from the point of onboarding a customer, the point where they are making an order, the point where you invoice them, and to the point where you are receipting them. Normally, traditionally, they would have to go walking through several doors and do a lot of paperwork. But right now, it happens at the click of a button. So all that process would normally be reduced to 2 or 3 buttons, and the customer has their service or product delivered. And also, in terms of embracing technology, there is the great need, which we are currently seeing in the world, about the collaboration between technology partners, where a technology partner, let's say focusing on digital payments, only focuses on what they are strong at, digital payments, and another technology partner who is strong at e-commerce focuses on only that. So you have a very, very powerful technology partner who focuses on e-commerce and one on digital payments. When the two collaborate, you build a very, very powerful force. And that is what really has helped technology really go forward. And also something else that Kathleen has mentioned about the economic activity. Technology is a convenience as we know it. And to put it more into perspective, you really don't need technology if you have not solved other basic needs in your life. For instance, if you don't have, let's say, somewhere to stay, or you don't have something to eat, technology really
isn't the first priority.
It isn't the first priority. So normally when you look at the economy, if you have tier 1 and tier 2, and tier 1 is the population that has to focus on the basics, tier 2 has to, so technology will not be a priority for tier 1, but when you come to tier 2 where people are really have solved all the other basics, then technology becomes are a basic need at that point in time.
Okay.
Yes, and mainly because, for instance, someone who is running a shop online, they cannot run away from technology.
Yeah.
They have to use it. It
Yeah.
becomes a basic need at that point.
Yeah.
I want to talk about, because you've talked about technology enabling us to see the bigger picture in most of the things that we do. But for a person maybe who's just sitting at home, na yako like, okay, maybe biashara yangu imekuwa ikiwork without technology. So do I really need it?
Well, you do. Yes.
Why?
Because now most customers are online. So for you to grow, for you to realize growth at the end of the day, you might be satisfied with the amount of money that you're bringing in at the moment, but you know the world is changing and technology is here to stay. The advent of technology has brought forth a lot of opportunities for businesses to embrace. So if you're very satisfied with the traditional ways of doing business, at the end of the day, whether you like it or not, you'll have to embrace the technological aspect of your business. Yeah. Right now, people want to pay via money payment platforms. People don't walk around with cash. People want to inquire. You know, people are not within your geographical locations. The thing with technology, there is no limit to the geographical landscape. When you look at the business landscape, you do not really concentrate on where you are, because customers will come from every corner of the world. So for you to grow at the end of the day, you really have to embrace technology. Yeah. And also, it also boils down to personal development. You know, we all have different areas of improvement that we also want to achieve. And in as much as we would want to separate the business and the person, at the end of the day, there has to be some sort of collaboration. And also looking at the whole value chain, I might be responsible for a specific level in the whole value chain, but at some point I'll have to collaborate with someone else who's in the same value chain. And if they're using technology,
It
then
makes it easier.
yes, it makes it easier for you to realize the objectives that you have as a business. And also with things like business plans, you want to break even by year 3, you know, and you're not using technology right now, where most businesses are using technology. So how are you going to do business with, or how are you going to form partnerships with businesses that are embracing technology? At the end of the day, you'll probably be shipped out of the industry, or you'll have to embrace technology, or just do a little bit of market research and see how can you better place your products, combining both the traditional forms of doing business and also now the digital forms of doing business.
Now you've dwelled a bit on business, and I want us to stick right there, because there's the internal environment in a business, and there's the external environment, and there has to be communication and how you communicate to people externally or internally. But now when we have technology, normally we'd have people traveling from, today I have to travel to China, today I have to travel to the US, today I have to travel to this country and that country, or basically even around the country to implement business. But what is the situation at hand, and what avenues are available brought about by technology to bring ease in that kind of communication externally and internally in a business?
Some of the main methods is through communication platforms, mostly socially, and others that are not social, that are more focused on the operations. And mostly the social platforms enable communication from a person to person, or from a customer to the business. And they are able to get to the point of, let's say, negotiating around the business. But when it comes to, but there are also other platforms that focus on how the operations are going to go. After, let's say, customers meet the businesses online, or businesses meet their customers online, then the process of onboarding them then happens on another communication channel, which is now able to operationalize the process of service delivery.
Okay, and now when we take a look at the people who have careers online, because I want to shift away from that, we've taken a look at the businesses that actually have maybe physical locations, or just operate physically, not necessarily online. But now for the businesses that operate online, we have a lot of influencing jobs. We have a lot of people who just focus on making money through technology and just doing it online. So what are some of the avenues available? Because a lot of people who are watching us are young people. Kuna huyo msemo mwenye amekaa hapo hivyo chini nyumbani, mwenye yeye anaona, I just want to start things online. Maybe the capital I have will only allow me to do something within the online sphere, within just using my internet, or I have Wi-Fi at home, or something like that. So how can you speak to someone who's very young to grow their careers, to grow their businesses in the online sphere, or actually make money online?
Okay, all right. So business and online, or business and technology, is a marriage of equals. And when you think about technology, there are three greatest concerns that a young person can really look into when wanting to start a business. So there has to be ease. How is there ease of doing business online? Yeah, you have to look at efficiency. How can you build that trust? Because at the end of the day, trust is a very big currency in business. And also at the end of the day, there has to be some sort of security or safety. Yeah. So if there's money moving from this platform to the other platform, how do you track that also? If there's exchange of information, how do you ensure that there is information safety? You know, if you probably you getting contacts of your clients, yeah, how do you guarantee them that, hey, I'm not going to share these contacts with someone else, or I'm not going to do this and this and this and this. So if you're able to focus on those three and perfect it to a point where now, should I now get into business, then now at the end of the day, you'll break even, or you'll realize the different areas of improvement that you have. Because technology is very simple if you master it. It's very simple. So there's ease of doing business, there's safety, and also now there's the other one that I mentioned. Yeah.
What are the career options that a person has online? What are some of the online jobs that I have? Because I know there's someone at home when you're nauliza. Okay, fine, you've talked about the ease, you've talked about the ability and the avenues that are there for me to do business online. But what are some of the career options that I have? Can I only just be an influencer?
No. The list is very long. The opportunities are very many. It boils down to what are you passionate about. Because at the end of the day, if you say you want to be a blogger, but you're not really good at writing, it will not work out at the end of the day. So what are you really passionate about? Do you like selling stuff? Do you like talking to people? You know, do you like creating content? Are you living in a very fun environment and you want to share that with people who will watch the content? You know, YouTubers, for example, you know, influencers in, say, for example, Instagram, you know. So at the end of the day, whatever you're passionate about, you will find your niche and you will grow in that environment. Because you cannot really be effective across all the platforms. You just have to find which one works for you, which one takes the least amount of effort, and which one generates the maximum amount of revenue. Then at the end of the day, then you're good to go.
Yeah. And I want us to start with the downside of having a business online, or operating business via digital means. What are some of the disadvantages that are present so that we can flip them now to make them positive?
So one of the main disadvantage of operating a business online is trust. Because as a community or as a society, we haven't reached that level where we can be able to trust businesses that are virtual. We believe in meeting.
That's why you have a business, alafu mtu anakuuliza na sasa duka yako iko wapi?
Exactly. So actually, and that's why for many businesses, when customers ask you the question, where are you located? And normally you are online, it's a bit difficult to tell them that you're located online, because they feel, what if you just went away? Then also, when running a business, for instance, if you are offering a service-based business or you're offering goods, if you want to have the goods delivered, then you would need a certain commitment from your customers. But the customer has not seen you, so they really are they feel like they are sending money to some ghost somewhere. So they don't feel really confident, and that's one of the main challenge, which is trust. The other challenge is information security, because the technology has made the world to become a global village. And if you have realized, if you are an adequate user of technology, you would realize that whenever you sign into a particular technology platform online, you realize that some of them even know your details. You realize that, for instance, when you log in onto your phone, it could be a new application that you've just downloaded. It knows a bit of your information.
Okay, I always wonder, I'm sorry to stop you, but I always wonder, how does it work when I Google something and then automatically I enter Instagram? It'll package an ad for me within that line. So we're going to come back and talk about that. But back to what you were saying.
Exactly. Which is how is our information used online and with the companies that we are giving this information? Do they use them for the marketing purposes, which is a bit irritating for the users of technology, because mostly they don't want to feel like, I gave you my information on goodwill, I only wanted to become your customer, but now you are selling me,
Yeah.
you are selling me other things, you are retargeting me. So people really don't feel safe sharing, sharing especially their personal information online, and mostly especially that personal information that is very close to them that they cannot really fake. Let's say your phone number. You really cannot fake your phone number, and some technology platforms are going to require to verify your
phone
identity by sending you, let's say,
code.
a code on phone.
Yeah.
So really they know who you are.
There's no way to escape it.
Yeah, you cannot escape anywhere. And also, you will realize that, especially for the transport platforms, you realize that they also want to know your location. So they not only know your phone number, they also know your location. So really, sometimes users feel like there's some sort of surveillance, some sort of big brother somewhere. Yes. So information security is something really that hasn't been addressed, especially with technology,
Yeah.
because a lot of our information is so much out there, much more than we realize.
And is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing, and it's also a bad thing. But currently, it's more to the towards the negative
yeah.
than it is towards the
The
positive.
positive.
But to make it go towards the positive,
Yeah.
I believe, because technology, you really can't limit technology, because technology will always have a way of beating you. You really can't corner technology and tell technology, this is how you have to
Wake
behave.
up, oh my day.
Technology is like water. It's going to flow, is going to flow the way it wants to flow. So really, I think what we could do is to have legislation on how our information is used online. And I'm sure even in our Kenyan population, people complain that I'm receiving messages that I really didn't subscribe to.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. That's what I'm talking about, information security. So that means your information must have been leaked somewhere.
Yeah.
Yes,
Which is quite surprising, because everything he's talking about, I'm like, yo, I receive those texts.
Yeah.
Yo, every time an ad pops up because I've given my information somewhere, there is a downside to technology. But now talking about, I want to take you back to that aspect of trust, because a lot of people who operate businesses online, they're people who have positive intent, and they're people whose intent is just malicious,
Yeah.
whereby there are people who con people online out of the facade of having a business. The typical example of wolf in sheep's clothing. Unapata mse amepackage nani yake vizuri, ajua kubrand, but they're just goods that aren't there. So with people like that, and now you're having to operate your business at a time where there's so many holes poked in the aspect of trust. How do I enable myself to earn back my trust of customers? How do I package my information in the sense that you know that this thing is real and it's practical and my customers can trust me without necessarily having a physical location?
A very good question. At the heart of the business are two things, profit and value.
Yeah.
So mostly the business person wants to provide value to the customer, and in exchange, they make some profit from the value that they have exchanged. So that is the bottom line. And technology comes in to help them achieve, both to achieve those goals. The one who is looking for value and the one who is looking for the money. However, for them to earn trust online, one thing cuts across. I could be willing to share my information and I wouldn't feel that I'm losing a lot by sharing my information. But what is very, very key to me is my hard-earned money, which is what really I'm trying to secure.
Yeah.
We can implement a third party that is able to hold, let's say, if it is our money, in trust. So that I don't want to trust you as an online business, and the online business also doesn't want to trust me as a customer, because we really haven't met and the trust has not been established. But I trust this third-party entity whom we can relate. So therefore, if I'm a customer and I need to pay a down payment for a service, I pay it through a third-party entity which holds my money in trust, so that in case the service provider doesn't provide me the value that we had discussed,
Yeah.
then
Money is.
my money is. And also, with creating these kind of collaborations, also we are creating more businesses, because the entity that's going to hold your money in trust is going to provide you that value also at a cost.
Yes.
Yes. So trust online is something that really has to be looked at from a wider view, and we have to understand that we cannot just meet online and
Yeah.
trust is established.
Yeah.
It is
Unapata wengine anakuuliza kwani wewe hujainunua vitu online?
yeah.
Unalipa ndo nikupatie nani, so you're like okay.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's on a very light note. I want to look at it from the growth perspective. He's talked about it from having an entity, but now there's a way you package and brand your business that can make a person know. Unajua kuna venye you post pictures that you download online and just post them there, but how can I brand my business to ensure that I've established that sense of trust that you know, should I tie it to an entity which is me, unaona sura yangu all the time, or how does it work for me to establish trust now that maybe we don't have a third entity, but I still need to sell?
Yeah. In that case, then you need to take advantage of your repeat customers, customers who have bought time and time again from you. So you can have a section in your website where there are testimonials. You can introduce that as a marketing strategy where you post, say for example, I've sold this item of clothing to you and you decide to wear it today, then I can ask for permission, take a picture of you, put it on social media, so at least I can be able to build trust and also give very detailed information about what you're doing. I am selling clothes, this kind of clothes, this is where I'm located, should you need me to drop off your items, this is where you can get them, do you want to pay me virtually, this is how you can do it, this is the number to pay it to. So give as much information as possible at a go. So don't do it, okay, so now we're talking, oh, I like your items, how much are they? Then you give me the price, but you don't tell me how I'm going to pay it. So at the end of the day, it's tedious, and as a customer, I might lose interest in the process of buying. So most organizations will, say for example, if you don't want to drive as much traffic as possible into your website, you can introduce something like a landing page, where now if you do a post on social media, just put a link to the landing page, and then all the information will be there. Then you can be able now to track. So from this click, 80% were inquiries, 20% were conversions. So now how do I increase my conversion rate? You know, how much did I use to boost this post on social media? How much did I get at the end of the day? Say, for example, if you're selling a service and you have this database of potential buyers that you've probably garnered from a campaign on social media, yeah. So how do you even ensure that the information that they have provided, because you'll have something like their phone numbers, where they're located. If you need more information, say, for example, do they have a car? Can they come to the office and get this item, you know? So at the end of the day, how do you ensure that this information is secure as possible? Because also, you know, there's that sort of collaboration. So you have sales, you have admin, yeah? So now, when they come for the item in the office, they have to communicate with admin. But now, who has sold them the item?
Yeah.
The sales. So everybody has the number, yeah? The phone number of this particular customer. So how do you ensure that at the end of the day, as a customer, I know that in as much as you have this contact detail, you're not going to just use it anyhowly. So you have to build a lot of trust, use testimonials, do a lot of marketing strategies where they are really focused on building trust. At the end of the day, for marketing, it doesn't really have to be about generating revenue. You can concentrate on building a strategy that just wants to form a community of people that you trust. Should you want to introduce a new product, you don't have to go through the entire process. You have like a group of people that can be able to buy these products from you. You can build awareness, use the marketing strategy as a process. I just want to build an awareness that I am here, this is what I'm doing, this is what I plan to do in the next 1-2 years, or I plan to introduce a product in the next 2 months, you know. So it doesn't have to be about revenue. You can concentrate on building that trust first, so that in the event that now this is what I have, can you buy it? Then you've already gotten yourself to that point where your customers trust that what you're doing is something legit, and they can be able now to follow through at the end of the day. Yeah.
Okay, and I still want to dwell there. So I'm sorry, I want to dwell there because you've spoken about an important aspect, which is customer satisfaction. I've posted those testimonials, that customer appreciation post and everything. I've ensured that my sales landing page, whatever, is as good to ensure that I'm earning your trust. But there's one thing that damages customer trust and that sense of customer satisfaction, which is the relation that you have with your customer online. This is someone that you can't see, and you're communicating either via texts. Maybe they've just DM'd you on Instagram, they've sent you a private message on Twitter or on Facebook. Alafu, kuna venye tu mse ujibu tu. There's some people who naturally jibu you with one word or things like that. But then now, when you look at a person, if we're talking like this and you answer me with one word, I'm like, it's easy. It's not such a big deal. But via text, there's a sense of, you know, you answer for yourself. Like mse kujibu na jijibu na your own intonation. So that sense of customer relation, how important is it? And where do some people go wrong in how they relate with their customers, and even the timeliness of how you relate with your customers online?
It takes a little bit of psychology, something called human-centered design. So you look at your business from the standpoint of your customers. So for example, if I am a customer, so how would I want to be approached? Remember, at the end of the day, a sales process has to be as customized as possible, because in as much as you're targeting this kind particular segmentation, you also have to use the customer profile. So this customer is like this, these are the boundaries, this customer wants to pay like this is a very special case, so I have to probably do trials, I have to go to them, I have to do A, B, C, and D. So you have to customize it as much as possible and employ a little bit of psychology. And you have to be as analytical as possible. So now that's where now the aspect of being an analyst comes in. Where now from the onset, from the first time we start talking, I have to observe, I have to look at probably some non-verbal cues that you're probably showing energy. I have to be very in sync with you in order for me now to know at the end of the day, so this is how I want to sell this product to you. I can't just use the same process. So for example, if I'm selling a pair of shoes to Peter, I'll use a completely different strategy as compared to when I'm selling probably a pair of earrings to you. Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you very much. We need to listen to some more music, right? Because we've had a very intense conversation. It's very concrete. So let's listen to some more music. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the role of, or rather the impact of technology, especially in relationships. We've had dating apps, we have all of that. So sit right and sit tight for that. It's about to get interesting. And also online learning, where a lot of people have been forced to just learn online because you can't see your lecturers anymore. How can we maneuver around that? But for now, some more music. Every girl definitely deserves to feel like a star, and I definitely hope that you are indeed. Wait, see what I did there? Anyway, I hope you're definitely enjoying the Thursday vibes. It is Lifestyle Thursdays. We need to have some good conversations, some good information, and some pretty good music. And today we got you in everything, in all spheres, in all aspects, we got you. And today we need to take a look at the conversation that we're having, which is the impact of technology in our everyday lives. We all interact with technology on a daily basis. We all use our phones a lot. We all meet people online. We all shoot our shots via the online sphere. We all try to find una squeezy. I don't know if you guys have interacted with the weddings we have nowadays. There's usually that conversation of, oh, you know, I DM'd her and then she replied, alikuwa anani dodge for a couple of months, and then finally she accepted my short, and the rest is history. Now we are married, and we post ourselves online and stuff like that. So a lot of relationships are centered online. But before we go into that, when COVID started, the moment COVID ilianza hivi, it disrupted every single aspect of our lives. And I know I'm still a university student, so we were forced to learn online. And I know there's so many other people who resonate with that, where we have never learned online. You're always used to physical learning, like the lecturer has to tell me this, tell me that, and everything. The lazima nimuone ndo ni understand, niambie si concentrate, and I concentrate a bit more. So in a perspective where there's that university student who's now been forced to use online learning, they don't know how to maneuver around it, and mambo kayo, and now the lecturer has to start embracing a lot of applications to communicate to his class and everything. How can you talk to such people? You're talking to me, so how can you talk to me about that?
All right. One thing is that it's inevitable, especially because of where we are as a world, as a globe. So it's inevitable. The other aspect is that you can consider that there wouldn't be another way. For instance, if we were to wait until let's say everything goes back to normal, which there will be no new normal, no
This
other
is
normal.
the new
Yeah.
normal.
This is the new normal actually. So you would really look at it from the perspective that you would have to have delayed your program. The other advantage, especially of online learning, which people would really need to look at it from a positive perspective, is that as opposed to physical in-person learning, you would, for instance, if you're in Kenya, you would only have to choose a university in Kenya or a college in Kenya. But because of distance learning and online learning, which has been more promoted by the scenario that we are having as a world, you can be able to study abroad while you're still in Kenya.
Yeah.
And how would it feel if you had actually had a master's degree or an undergraduate degree from, let's say, the UK, and you are still in Kenya?
From the Ivy League universities that we've always wanted to go to.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it would really feel nice. So in one way, yes, we are being shifted from what we are used to, but we are being taken to a better normal. Yes, from our old normal to a better normal.
So it's not so bad.
It's not
It's
so
not so
bad.
bad.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to throw you a bit in the deep sea, kiasi. Have you ever DM'd anyone online?
Yes.
Okay, so that is where we're shifting conversation, because with technology, we have social media. And with social media, we're forced to find our partners online. We have dating applications where you create a profile and msianangalia kama you fit the description. No, we've always had this perspective of I have a dream man in my head, and this dream man should be 6 foot tall, should be tall, dark, handsome, and all of that shebang, depending on what it is your ideal partner is.
Yeah.
And now people can actually do that online. So have you interacted with it? I want to hear it from you, because I never expected it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
So
quite unexpected.
how was the experience?
Well, the experience for me, I would say maybe what promoted it, because I'm not really...
Unaongelea ni kama it's a business, like we have to take this professionally.
No. Mostly is because, and why we would embrace it, is mostly because, especially from the age where you are after campus, mostly your life is predominated by work.
Yeah.
So you really don't have a lot of time to meet people, but you have a lot of time on your phone.
Yeah.
So that time that you have on your phone, you can also meet people online. Yes.
Which is a good thing.
But also, in terms of meeting people online, there is only too much that you can do it, and mostly is to, as you have said, to maybe just look whether do they really meet the criteria.
And how can you be able to tell the criteria when it's just online? I believe, for me personally, when you go online, I'm very tall, but in person, I'm very short. So how will you know my criteria online?
Now, if I look at, if I go back to the history on your postings, I can really be able to tell your character.
Yeah.
Yes. And so more like if I look at from the perspective of, let's say, the physical features, like the height, as you have mentioned, and others, I may not really be able to make a conclusion.
Yeah.
But when I look at what you post, the kind of pictures you post, and the kind of content you post online over a diverse period of time, let's say from, let's say 1 year, 2 years, then I'll know this person likes
like
this, likes to travel. I'm going to know a lot of things, so that even when, let's say, I am DMing, I know you are not really a stranger to me. I'm a stranger to you, but you're not really a stranger to me. So I know quite a bit about you.
Yeah.
Which you have told me via that platform.
Have you ever been carved online?
Carved,
I know.
Like ushaikulisha blue ticks online?
of course. Hizo ni lazima.
Okay, we move, we survive, we shall overcome. Anyway, I'll talk about it from, this is an aspect of growth in itself, whereby before we had technology, we used to have to meet people like physically. But right now, you can date someone who is away from wherever it is that you are. I can be in Kenya and I'm dating someone who is in the UK. I mean, yeah, I can. It can
true,
happen.
yeah.
So there are a lot of long distance relationships. There are a lot of basically relationships that are online. So from the perspective of meeting people online, do you think it actually works?
It does. It does, but on particular spectrums.
Why so?
Because you know, people have different personality traits.
Yeah.
So like Peter will see a girl likes her and a shoot short and a quite curved and a move on.
Peter is literally almost bursting out of his seat.
You know, but there are people who are sapiosexuals. Yeah, they want to talk to somebody first. I want to know how do you think? You know, what's on your mind, because everything else does not really matter.
Yeah.
I want to have a conversation with you before I know that I want to date you, you know. How do you communicate? Remember, communication is a very big element in relationships. So how do you communicate? What channels do you use? Are you somebody who calls? Are you somebody who likes texting?
Yeah.
Are you nocturnal? Can I talk to you at 3 a.m.? Or you tell me, "Mimi nimelala by the way," you know. So at the end of the day, it boils down to what really excites you in a relationship. Are you somebody who, ni sawa nimekupenda kwa picha, let's move, let's date, we'll figure it out as we go. But for people who effectively date, you know, I don't want to sound like a relationship expert, but that's the information that's out there. You know,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you really need to know if you're dating long term for long term purposes. Then some very, very tiny things have to be tested in relationship, especially for long distance relationships. You're dating somebody who's in the UK. So what is he doing right now? Is he at work?
Yeah.
Sawa amekwambia ako job, but how can you know that this guy is really at work?
Yeah.
So you're tested time and time again, and comes down to trust. So you're staying in the UK, I have to trust you. Even if at times I feel like you're lying, I
Yeah.
feel like you're not being sincere,
Yeah.
you're shortchanging me, I have to trust you in order for this to work. So at the end of the day, for particular spectrums, it will work. But in most cases, it does not end up in very excellent situations because, you know, people lie.
You know, you've spoken about that with such passion. So I have to ask, I can't let my people
Oh
down
my
back at
goodness.
home. Have you been in a long distance relationship in these times of technology?
I have, yeah. I have. And, well, personally, I'm someone who likes to communicate. I am a sapiosexual. Let me represent. Let me represent
The
my people.
sapiosexual.
Yes.
I always thought it was something just people put on their Instagram bios and that's the end of the story.
It's something that I've experienced on a personal level. If your mind does not turn me on, then nothing else you have will. So I have to
Connect
meet
with someone.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, in order for us to know if we are doing this or not.
Yeah.
So for social media or for these online dating platforms, for me it's probably a means to an end. So I'll probably meet you, but we'll have to do a conversation at some point, whether virtually through these platforms where people use to video connect or do a direct call or even meet, because right now people can meet, so meet and observe the regulations that have been put in place by the government. At the end of the day, I have to do my due diligence because matters of the heart are very, very crucial. You have to protect yourself. Nahi Nairobi, you have to.
Oh dear.
you have to be really careful. Yes, yes, yeah.
Talking about being careful, with technology, there are downsides to it, especially in the dating world and especially in the relationship aspect of it. I love the way, from the moment I knew, I wish we could have talked about this from the very beginning because you feel to be a bit more comfortable in this conversation. Manisata, I'm so sorry to do this one. With technology, there's a downside. There's that aspect where people are not who they appear to be. A lot of people usually post, and it's very hard to depict someone's character from social media. I'll just download a quote, and I want to post a love quote today. So love quotes, Google and everything, and I'll put that as my caption on social media or anything. So you find when you meet someone online, and for me, I usually say by that, I'll put that filter, I'll put that, my height, that angle. Everyone in this video usually suffers when they're taking pictures of me because as my angle ikue, you must be on the floor for you
Yeah,
to take that
yeah,
photo.
yeah.
So with that said and done, where technology has pushed us to the level where we have to be people we necessarily are not. Not in a bad way. At times it's just social media. It's never that serious. But what hindrances does it pose to finding love or maybe relationships online where you know umse nikikutana na yeye hayuko hivi,
Hayuko hivi.
like she's very short but she looks tall online. You know, people post whatever they want you to see, and they post themselves in the best aspects because there are a lot of applications for you to extensiate your features and everything.
Yeah, I think part of the main disadvantage is misrepresentation of information. But mostly, you know, on social media, you want to put your best foot forward.
Yeah.
So part of it where if you put too much of your best foot forward,
Yeah.
then you misrepresent yourself. And as Kathleen said, mostly you're going to meet on social media,
Yeah.
but mostly at some point in the process, you'll have to have an, let's say, a call or a physical meeting.
Yeah.
So whenever now there comes a lot of disappointment where, where what I saw online,
You speak as if you've gone through this.
not really.
Okay.
Whatever you saw online was not really who was represented. So whatever you anticipated or whatever picture you had in mind, really veered off.
Vitu kwa ground.
Yeah, vitu,
Ni
yeah,
different.
exactly.
Zilikuwa
Vitu kwa
very
ground
different.
ni different.
Ni different.
But
Oh
also,
dear.
apart from the misrepresentation, is also the aspect of negative social engineering,
Okay.
where a man could even pose as a lady.
Whoa.
Yeah. So by that, another gentleman will be negatively social engineered. So, and they could even plan a meeting, and it could even end up as a con game. So also the aspect of social media being used as for negative social engineering.
Yeah. So people should be quite alert. You might have this person who you think is spectacular,
Yeah.
and you have a conversation,
Yeah.
and all in the name of social engineering, they just maybe want to con you, or
Yeah.
that is quite sad. And now bringing it back to this aspect of relationships, whereby with technology, maybe now I want to take it back to the long distance perspective, whereby now you've started the relationship without social media, and then now you're forced to have to use technology to ensure that you guys are still communicating and stuff like that. Is it more of an advantage or a disadvantage?
Both. I would say both. Because at the end of the day, there has to be a balance, yeah? And it also boils down to what you want as an individual. You should not lose yourself in a relationship. So if technology is something that's limiting you or limiting your values as an individual, then you really have to have a conversation with your partner. Then find what works for the both of you, yeah? And also the times, say for example, if you're in different time zones. So let's communicate all day, drop me a text. If I'm at work, I'll be able to respond. Let's have a call at 3 a.m. or at noon or what. So you have to sacrifice. You know, relationships are all about sacrifice. You meet your person in the middle if you really want it to work. So do your due diligence, do your best, do your part, and hope that they'll do their part, and both of you are aiming for the same thing. So if you combine forces, at the end of the day, teamwork.
Makes the dream work.
Yeah.
Wow. And talking about social media, I know in one way or the other, you've had this encounter where you see your partner, your significant other, liking posts of another person. Yani it's made cheating or finding someone cheating or catching someone cheating a very easy way. Because now if I see you liking somebody else's post and you're consistent in your likes or the likes that you offer to this particular post, or you're consistent in the comments that you put on that particular post up with watching. Oh God,
I know.
it's cold. It's cold now. Anyway, he feels like, I feel like he's very happy about this topic. I can't even. I should just let you answer everything. Yeah, but when it comes to that perspective, whereby cheating has become so prevalent with the onset of technology, or technology being a part of our relationships, whereby we need to if you see someone doing this, this, and that online, you obviously have to keep track of what they're doing and everything. How has it affected most relationships? Still on you.
Okay, I'll speak about it from a personal point of view. You have to demand basic respect before you even get to that point in a relationship where things are very serious. This is what I stand for, this is what I dislike, this is my boundary here. In that case, when your partner does these things, at the back of his mind, he knows that I am crossing this boundary, so there's no respect here. So what's the point of moving forward? Yeah, I do not like the idea of keeping track or trying to follow someone. Oh, so he has liked this post, he has commented here. It sort of brings you on a bad limelight, and it also devalidates what you stand for at the end of the day. So if this is what I stand for as a person, as a woman, as a lady, because at the end of the day, you're not representing yourself alone, you're representing a lot more women out there. So if you can sort of just show this man that women want respect, and respect comes in these ways. Don't do this, don't do that. Because at the end of the day, I am very confident that I can reciprocate that on my end. So if you have that from the start, then these tiny things will not build will not become a mountain at the end of the day. Yeah, because you're not doing it for yourself. You're also doing it for your daughter at some point in time. So if you advocate for disrespect right now, then what will happen in the near future? And it also boils down to self-love. Love yourself enough to know that this is not what I want, and also have confidence enough that I can find someone else. I don't have to stick with you because I feel like I'll not find someone else out there. Even if you end up alone, it's still good. But at the end of the day, you're happy with yourself, you're happy internally, and you can be able to radiate that self-love to people who are around you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And with social media, there's obviously this aspect of wanting to prove to people that we are happy. Our relationship
Couple
is
goals.
perfect.
Yeah.
Hashtag couple goals.
goals, yeah.
Hashtag marriage works. Hashtag whatever it is. So that you can basically prove to everyone on the internet, prove that technology has made this relationship work. You're constantly posting and exposing aspects of your relationships to what's say online. Lazima uprove mbogi that sitko sawa, like we're cool. So that aspect of oversharing your relationship online, from your perspective, ukiona wase wana overshare vitu online, what comes to your mind?
Well, I would say, but this would be a personal opinion, that I would normally prefer, as much as you meet online, but take the relationship off social media. Because then you get to deal with social media pressure, which is sometimes negative in the relationships, especially when you want to concoct a certain image, which you cannot really substantiate in real life. Yeah, so on social media things look very good, but when you come to the two of you, so for me I would really go for, it's okay to meet online, but now after you have met online, now relate as a person to person.
Whoa, what do you think about it?
I second him on that because I feel people fake a lot on social media, and social media can be very addictive. Yeah, sometimes they don't even know it. They do it unknowingly. Yeah, but at the end of the day, you look at the impact that it generates to you as an individual and to the people that you are, the community that you have built online. So, is this something that you want to be remembered for? Is this something? Are you happy? At the end of the day, are you happy? You have this very wonderful relationship online, but kwa ground vitu ni different. Yeah. So do you really want that to be your life? Yeah. So at the end of the day, I second him 100%. Yeah.
And with social media, there comes a lot of competition because gradually, when we come from technology brought us social media. So now with that, our daily lives have been driven with a lot of competition. If I see someone posting this like, hey, leo Aziza amekula kuku, amekula nyama choma and everything, tomorrow I must post nyama choma and kuku. I must also prove that I'm on the right trajectory, because other people within the same peer group as I am are doing certain things. But through social media, people just don't post the truth all the time, as you stated it. So when it comes to that aspect of unhealthy competition in your daily life, how can you speak about it?
Unhealthy competition has been there. technology just elevated it to a very wider scope. Yeah. What I would say is it's a phase that everybody has to go through. Yeah, there'll always be that time where you competed with someone because you want to prove that I'm not a failure. You know, I got money, I can buy things. You know, I neza buy kuku hata mimi. You know, but now once you outgrow that phase, now that is where people miss the information or fail to a greater extent because you do not want to leave that particular space or that particular spectrum. But now you have gotten to a point where things have to be a reality. You have to be real with yourself. You have to now put things in order. If you're talking about money, then there has to be something. Yeah. If you're talking about career, there has to be something. If you're talking about buying that kuku, yes, you're buying that kuku, but do you have something left for tomorrow? So people do not want to they don't want to leave that space. So they grow old in that space and then they miss out on a lot of opportunities that come after that door closes. Yeah.
A lot of people are depressed nowadays. A lot of people are depressed simply because of the unnecessary pressure that they drive out of social media. So Nico, na depression because everyone is doing everything so well and I'm just not it. That's picture that a lot of people paint online of success, of being the best, of having money, of just having the most amazing life, putting now unnecessary pressure on myself, on my partners, on my parents, on every single person to achieve that. And when I don't get it, I'm just depressed. How can you talk to young people? How can you talk to young people who are in that situation?
Well, I would say that one thing you need to recognize, just as those things are virtual, those successes could also be virtual. They could also be intangible. So there wouldn't really be a need to apply pressure on yourself because you saw something somewhere online. Somebody could even post a car, a very expensive car, lakini ameipiga kwa parking lot ya mtu mwingine. Isiyo yake. So you might be tempted to think that just because they pose beside a very expensive car, that it is theirs, but really akitoka lazima atachukua public means. Yes, so mainly is to understand that that's a virtual platform and whatever is also posted there has a very high percentage of being virtual.
Yeah.
And also people need to realize that your own success will be achieved by you. And there is no really, you are the only one who needs to pressurize yourself towards your own path. Don't allow any pressure, be it from family, be it from friends, or be it from social media. But if you take on a particular path, normally that path is going to pressure you along itself. And when that happens, then it takes you away from other pressure.
Okay, and maybe now in summary, because unfortunately tumefiki yako katime, we just have to bid people goodbye. So with everything said and done, where we've talked about the positives, the negatives, and the general impact of technology and social media, how can we then, in general now, as you speak to the people back at home, and I want you, as you speak, to now not talk to me and talk to her or him who's back at home in the couch or Kwasimu or wherever it is they're watching us from, and tell them how they can positively use technology and social media to their advantage.
Well, what I would say in terms of using technology and social media to your advantage, you who's watching, is that mainly look at the positive that technology has brought, mostly bringing opportunities and how you can tap into these opportunities for your own benefit. And for instance, let's say online marketing, looking for a job online, or let's say doing an online business, that is a very good way which you could use to promote yourself and put your best foot forward. And as much as there are challenges with technology, there are also major advantages with technology. And for those who are technology savvy, you might also want to think on the lines of innovating for the future, and which also means you could be the next Bill Gates, the next Jeff Bezos, or the next Elon Musk, and would really love to have that, especially from our very own.
Okay, and Kathleen, maybe as you speak, ameongelea Jeff Bezos, ameongelea
Kama kawaida.
and the only thing that's coming into my head is, those guys, have gotten divorced. And now, as we talk about technology and the aspect of now, because I had to bring out the relationship aspect of it, how can you talk to the girls and the boys who are watching you back at home and waambie jinsi ambavyo watatumia technology kwa maisha yao ya kila siku to their advantage with the people who are depressed, with the people who relationships ziko ICU kiasi maybe because of technology. How can they flip that and turn it into a positive thing?
Well, I would say an informed person can make a wise decision. To be informed, there's a lot of information that you can actually get online. You know, learn as much as you can. If you want to do long distance relationship, what are the advantages of this platform? What are the disadvantages of this platform? If you're feeling depressed and because of social media pressures, you're not the first one. There's so many people who have gone before you and have actually overcome that. So what can you learn? What are these lessons that you can actually employ in your life and make it work at the end of the day? So be informed. Information dissemination is free. Nowadays you can get a lot of information online. Strive as much as you can to learn a lot about a particular segment that you want to focus on. Then at that point you can make informed decisions.
All right. And thank you very much for gracing us with your presence. You have been amazing. Yani, you've ever spoken to people and you feel like, these guys are just like my friends.
Aww.
Like, that is how I feel, and I'm very, very grateful for your presence. Thank you for being here. Thank you for, I wish we'd have done this topic. If I knew this was where you thrive most from the beginning. We would have done that.
It's not a profession. It's something
everybody goes through, and that's the whole point of this conversation, because there are a lot of things that people go through. Now, why don't we just talk about them? Why don't we provide solutions for them? And I believe you've done it justice. So thank you very much, Peter. Thank you very much, Kathleen. And Kunaoton and text and hey, this girl is so beautiful. Number. Anyway, asanteni sana sana sana. I hope you're going to enjoy your weekend. I definitely am. But tomorrow I'm going to be here, same time, same place, for Feel Good Friday. And trust me, it's going to be an amazing show. You do not want to miss the show tomorrow. So tell everyone to tell everyone that ikigonga saa tano, we're all here seated, or if you want to stand or do anything, just do so. Feel comfortable. That's all about what we do on this show. We want you to feel as comfortable as you can, so that we can have some pretty interesting conversations, good music, good information, just all things good. Again, my name is Aziza Hashim. Join me tomorrow, but right now, I want to wish you a lovely day ahead. Stick around for the 1 p.m. news and all our shows that are going to be coming up. So thank you so much and have a lovely day.